everyone. Before we get to today's episode, I would like to let you know that today's episode is sponsored by the talented Jocelyn Soto. Diving into the world of Chicago Dark Knights with Hitting the Goal Line, it's a story filled with passion, friendship, and ice. Hitting the Goal Line is available on Kindle Unlimited and paperback on Amazon. And now on with the show. Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Becky.
And Jenny. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Becky.
And Leah. Hey, Leah.
Hi.
So we have this episode's dropping after the new year. We are all surviving the holidays.
We are.
Barely.
I do think
You're surviving. We didn't say how well you were surviving.
well, some of us were sick.
Yes.
It's okay. You can say you didn't want to people. I mean,
No, I wish that's what it was because I made Christmas Eve dinner. I had the entire house ready. I was ready to go for Christmas. And then no.
And then you went to bed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn it. So I think this topic works really well as we go into this holiday stretch, but it's not releasing until after the new year, you know, when we're kicking off our New to You Author Challenge.
It was kind of bad
rereads.
timing. It was bad timing on that release of the episode there, Rebecca.
It might be new to someone else.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
Our reread might be their new to them.
Good point. Thanks, Jenny, for finding the bright side.
Yes.
Which, you know, in this group,
No, I have
if
multiple
Jenny
sides.
is our ray of sunshine, we are
got
all
progress.
in trouble.
Yep.
The world is fucked,
We are.
It is.
to say it.
And also, this episode isn't live. This is one of our last ones that we're not recording live. And Jenny looks fancy. I'm just saying, guys.
Oh.
Do you
Why
have
do you look
makeup
so
on and
fancy?
like your hair is brushed?
Did you
Yeah,
have to
my
go into
hair
the
is
public?
brushed. I
Did
did
you-
have to go in the public, so
Okay,
I mean, I just hung out with my family, so they don't care.
right.
Although, so I have to say this. So we do Christmas fireworks. So we had a fireworks show tonight.
Well, that's exciting.
They're birthday fireworks for the girl.
Okay. Do you do birthday fireworks for the boy?
No, because it's not Christmas. My parents, I love my parents. The fact that they make a big
hopefully
deal
she
about.
never listened to this.
Oh no, he knows. He's never getting fireworks. But so since her birthdays are on Christmas Eve, they try and make like a big deal about it because it's a birthday. And I mean, she kind of, as I quote my mother, Nora gets the shaft for Christmas and her birthday because they're at the same time. So she gets fireworks every year.
Which is really nice. Maybe we should do that for Mike Burrier because he never gets Father's Day. All of his Father's Days are, well, not this year, but typically it's one of the children's birthdays.
Yeah.
So
That's true. You should do Father's Day fireworks.
Father's Day fireworks this year for Mike. I do like a good
There's
firework.
a lot of alliteration there.
There is. Okay, so on this episode of Buzzing About Romance, we are going to talk about the practice of rereading. The books and authors that are our comfort reads, books we use to reset when slumping, but also like some of us might not be rereaders because I'm going to be real honest. Since I found Kindle Unlimited and stopped having to rely on the library, I'm not much of a rereader anymore.
No?
No, I don't have time to reread. There are so many other books I want to read. And I have FOMO.
But when you're in a really bad slump, do you ever go back to those books that like you know how they're going to end, you know it's a happy ending, you know that you can rely on that author's words to make you happy?
No, I don't.
Maybe you would get out of your slumps faster if you did.
Maybe. So that's the first question. Are you a rereader?
Yes.
1000%. Yeah.
Jenny, are you a rereader?
I am, but I'm kind of like on the fence here because I put in my notes that like I am a rereader, but I feel guilty then because I'm like there's so many other books out there like waiting to be discovered.
Yes, but there's a lot of bad books out there where I'm like, do I want to take the chance for this book that I have never read this author is going to be a bad book, or do I want to read something that I know is going to bring me joy?
So there's another piece of it for me. While I might not reread, there are certain authors that I hold their books
Mm-hmm.
that I don't necessarily read as they're releasing, knowing that I like a Carrie Elks book, a Catherine Cowell's book. I know that even if it's not going to be my favorite, most outstanding story I've ever read,
It's reliable.
it's reliable. It's going to be well written. I'm not going to get too mad. The other piece that I use a lot, and I think this is because this comes from somebody that, because I used my library exclusively for 7 years. One of the types of books that was always available for checkout and always had huge quantities as far as like different titles, tropes, authors were categories.
Mm-hmm.
So category romance, when I'm feeling like I need that comfort read or I need to kind of reset, I go to category. I pick up a Maisie Yates. I could not keep up with Maisie Yates as she releases. I mean, girl has like 1,000 books, but they're all
That
category
makes sense.
and they're all cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it's rereading in a sense you always go back to that specific style.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going back to the category, sometimes novellas, but a lot of times I have a love-hate relationship with novellas.
Mm-hmm. We know.
Okay. Because they're dumb.
And if anybody
Understand.
has listened to you, they know too.
They know. Well, we did a whole episode where I'm like, why do you read them?
Why don't you read them?
We know why Leah reads them. Dirty,
We
smutty
do.
Santas.
I went through a Santa rabbit hole. There's a lot of Santa daddies. There's a lot of taboo. It was delightful. And it was Christmas. Thank you.
Amanda, so when you say you're a rereader, 1,000%, how do you reread? Like, do you have certain titles, certain authors? Like, when you think, okay, you know what? I need to go back to what I love. I'm going to reread. What are you rereading? Or how are you rereading?
Well, before I found Kindle, I was rereading Nora Roberts all the time. Because I could go back and reread while I waited on a new book to drop, but that has not changed. I am still rereading her books, and now I'm rereading them on audio. So right now, my reread for her is coming in the form of audio, but
Still counts.
yeah, it counts. I'm saying I'm not doing the actual like, the ebook reread as much, but I would say I've reread her books more than any other. But then, I have a few, like I have a lot of authors that I reread. And a lot of times it's just because I need those characters or I need that style of writing. Or even, if it's a long running series, like I need to refresh myself before a new book comes out. So, I mean, that's kind of like what I do. And if any of and I can tell you right now, most of the authors that I will talk about on this episode, you can go back to the binging series episode and get the same ones from me because they're all the same.
It's really interesting that for you, it's the same authors that you are good to binge, and that you do series refresh. I actually just recently had this thought because I think is it book 9 or book 10? Sawyer Bennett's getting ready to release in her Titan series. And
10, isn't it?
10, I think 10.
10, I had a thought like,
Let's look it up.
do I need to revisit Baden?
Yes, but you
And-
should listen to him.
Well, right. Yes. I mean, I'm not adverse to re-listening to the books, but it was just that thought, like, where am I at in the team? Have I forgotten people?
No, it's book 11.
It's book 11.
Band 2 is book 10.
So I did
Hot
have
damn,
that
Sawyer. I didn't realize we were that far.
thought, but I did have that thought where I was like, do I need to? But then, there's this book and this book and this book that I all need to read.
You
Yeah,
should
I mean,
do it both. You should listen to Baden while you do your house stuff, because those things need to be done.
I'm working 10 hours a day. Those things are not being done right now.
Well, you still do need to do them a little bit. You can piecemeal. That's where I get a lot of my rereading in now, is I will listen to books that I love
Yeah.
as like I'm at work, because I can't do book work at my real job if I'm actually doing like work at my real job. Not
Actually
that book
working.
work is, yeah, I have to do like actual work, but it's a lot of typing and inputting information. So like I'll throw a book on and like get lost as I write checks or pay bills or type up things.
So, Jenny, when you go to reread, is it more about the author, the style, or the actual title?
It's usually the author and the title. Like I have a favorite from a certain author. Like I definitely have books that I reread at certain times of the year based on like what's going on in my life. Like fall is super anxiety provoking for me because my kids are finally going back to school, but I also have to like entrust somebody else with taking care of them. So,
Mhm.
and then I have to people and talk to other parents, and that usually doesn't go well for me. Um, so
That's fair.
I always read Cambria Herbert's hashtag series like the end of August.
Just to kind of help comfort and
Yeah, it's like kind of like feels like coming home. Like Leah was saying, like I know exactly what's gonna happen. Like I've read them multiple times before, but just that like comfort of knowing what's gonna happen and that they make it through.
yeah. And this is
Well, and
more, oh, go ahead.
I feel like that's the big thing with the rereads for me, is like when I am in like mental or emotional upheaval is when the rereads in those comfort levels, like that's what I need. It helps reset, because like reading is an escape, and like when I'm in those like upheavals, like those comfort rereads, like they help settle like my anxieties. So it allows a lot of the anxieties like that are being caused by outside forces to kind of settle a little bit too.
So, and this might be a little more for Amanda because she's reading titles that are a little older. Um, what happens if you come across a reread and it doesn't hold up?
that has not happened to me yet,
That
Becky.
hasn't happened to you yet.
Let's not put that evil out into the world.
Well, the only reason I'm thinking of it is when I reread last year in prep for our wedding episode, um, I reread Nora Roberts' the Bridal Quartet series, which I
Mhm.
love that series. But there are a couple of things in there that date it, like blackberries and needing a map, and not being able to get a hold of somebody. Um, it's
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I just divorced myself from that happening. I mean, I think I almost read those as kind of like what were we talking about with Karen Gray, the classic
Yeah, the near
now, like
historical.
the near historical, that's what it was. I couldn't think of the term. I almost just like look at it like that now.
Yeah.
Like I just think about it as like, okay, this was set in whatever year it was set in, and I'm just gonna like,
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if you're reading historical romance in like modern times, like you have to kind of like separate yourself, like the historical, like they're dating themselves, and but they're purposely doing it. So, like,
Well, but Nora Roberts weren't purposely done. Those were
I
written as
understand
contemporary. But
that.
that's what brings it up, actually, is because previous to finding Kindle Unlimited and reading through the library, I reread and owned copies of a lot of historical romances because that's where I started. And you go back and you read those, and they're not they're not written in today's standards of consent. Like
Mhm.
many of those Joanna Lindsay books have no consent. Julie Garwood's are better, and I recently did reread The Prize by Julie Garwood after she passed this year. And even her, like Mercy, the Buchanans, I guess you could say that that's a comfort read for me, that series. Um, but those earlier books don't all hold up very well. Like they're aged. Like Amanda said, they're near historical now.
You have reread Rena Morgan multiple times.
Um, Only because so I can make all you people read them.
But here's the thing, like you reread them though, like those books really brought you joy and you reread them, yes, to make us do it, but it made you do
Same
it
thing with
and you loved it.
Maya Banks KGI
The
series.
KGI.
I reread those because I needed you people to get on the
Yes.
bandwagon and read
Well,
them.
and then, but you read the Perfect Gentleman series, you reread those too.
But again, to get you
And you
people to read
discovered a
those freaking
delightful,
books.
but didn't you discover a delightful narrator in those ones? Wasn't he the, no, was
Rena
that a different?
Morgan, her narrator
Mm.
is John Lane, and I
Oh,
am
yes.
obsessed with him.
Wait, I think he's doing a book that I just saw,
He,
like a new one that's coming out.
I did see him. I can't think of. Is it Alexi Blake?
It might have been a Susan book.
I don't know. To somebody, he
No.
does a lot of books with Russian accents, because he has a really great Russian accent.
Oh, now it's gonna bug me.
He
So I'm
also
gonna
does like a lot of church books
Yes,
church books.
under a different name.
Jenny went like all stalker
I
on him
did.
on my behalf.
Yes,
Weird.
I did.
I mean, is it the podcast if one of us doesn't stalk somebody we talk about?
I mean, I really do feel like, what does Heather call it? Stage 5 clingers. I
Yes.
feel like we need t-shirts that say that. That's our
But I
content
always-
warning.
Stage 5 cling certain things.
If you love it, you cling to it.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good one.
Okay, so we heard that Cambria Herbert is Jenny's comfort read author. Amanda, who's a couple of your comfort read authors other than Miss Nora Roberts?
Riley Edwards is probably my top one. Like I will pull out her books. Just a couple weeks ago, I was like, I need to cry. So I reread Declan and cried. So sometimes I just do that. Like I feel like if I need to purge, I will pull out a book that I know is going to make me cry. And I don't know. I needed to, and so I did.
You feel justified in the blubbering?
Oh yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah. I'm like, there's a real reason for me to be crying right now. I reread her books a lot since I found her. I read almost 20 of her books this year, and she only released 5. So that tells you.
I was in the mood for a butt sex scene, and I totally read Jana Aston. Like that's, I never am reading a
she
book
has
to
anal
cry.
everything.
I'm never reading a book to cry.
I can't make I don't
I'm
cry.
reading a book for the
So-
butt
I read a
sex.
book because I wanted to read the
Nice.
butts.
So Amanda's crying and Becky's reading for butt sex. That's what's happening right here.
Also, side note, it's Riley's Dangerous Encounter book that John Lane is doing.
Oh, okay.
That's
There you
nice.
go.
Anyway, I'm just keeping it real. Like when I am in the mood for a book, I'm looking for someone that uses lube in a butt sex scene.
Ooh, Jana does butt sex well.
She does butt sex really well.
Oh my gosh. Hopefully nobody comes
Yeah.
in like out of context in those ones.
Remind me
Oh,
to tell
that's
you
already
later,
done.
like what one to read that does not have lube. I was going to tell you, and I totally forgot to
Okay.
message you. But
I
I'll tell
just
you
read
later.
one. I read one the other day that he just went right in, and I was like, "Ooh, that's not how that works."
So I did a beta read on one that had some DP in it, and
Mhm.
there was no lube. And I just
At
kept
all?
thinking, no woman is that worked up. Like, there's not that much moisture down there. There's just not enough to handle all of that.
We have gone completely off topic.
Yeah.
I just, like, seriously,
See,
I want to
this
buy
is one
like
of those-
gallon bottles of lube and send
Honestly,
it to
but
authors.
this is one of those people
Now I
need to
forgot the
the
other authors I was
live.
gonna say.
Like, they need the live to see everybody's facial expressions.
This would get us kicked off the YouTube.
Oh,
YouTube
God.
can't handle us.
Okay, Leah, who are your comfort authors?
Okay, so Riley is a comfort author for me, but also I go back to Cynthia Eden's like Protecting or Wild Ways series. I was going through my rereads and they're either aliens or suspense. Because why not? But because Anna Hackett's like Eon Warriors, like I've reread that series like twice, which are aliens and suspense.
Yeah. I was gonna say she does both.
It's a nice mix. But I also have read the Horde King series twice because it brings me joy. I have to Marie Kondo that shit right there because it brings me joy.
I think
But
mine
yeah,
are all romantic suspense or urban fantasy
yeah, there's just
or
something about
paranormal.
it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, suspense is like my go-to comfort read anyway. So like naturally it's the rereads, but a Zoe Draven like Alien with a tail, yeah, that brings me joy as well.
Jenny, do you have any odd things that bring you comfort to reread? Like butt sex or aliens?
Yeah, not usually looking for the butt sex. And like Amanda, I was like, man, she's really smart. Maybe I wouldn't have to spend so much money on therapy.
Maybe.
I just use my books. But yeah, usually it's just like the comfort feeling, like yeah.
Um, do you have any specific titles that you always reach for? We know Amanda had the one Riley Edwards title. Do you have any other specific titles? Like, I know that if I reread this, I'm going to feel like love and joy and,
Yeah, I think definitely like Tribute by Nora Roberts is probably my most reread. I would say Tainted by Riley Edwards is probably the one I've
Mm.
reread the most. And then I think I will reread any Alona Andrews book to make me happy. Like I just like the Kate Daniels series, then her Hidden Legacy series. I don't know how many times I've reread those books or there. I don't know if I said her, but it's a husband wife duo. But yeah, and Suzanne Wright's another one. If I want just like steamy shifter romance, I pick up her Phoenix Pack series. The first one is Feral Sins. So those are probably my main ones, I think. Which I said there, those are all on my bingeable series list from that episode. So
Leah, do you have any titles that you pick up for reread automatically?
Mm, actually, Maria Lewis Hold Me Today. I've reread that book like 4 times because there's just something about that story that I love, and I've talked about it multiple times and have made multiple people read it. But just, I don't know, that book and book 2 of that series, I just adore their characters. Um, but yeah, I'm more of I'll just go to my author and pick a random book that I haven't read for a while. So it doesn't necessarily matter the title specifically. Just like I'll like decide this is the series I want to go back into and just basically like swirl the dice, roll the dice.
Do you ever pick up a book and just go in to read one scene? And I haven't done this in a really long time, but there have been certain scenes in books that were really like, that I just can't stop thinking about, that are my Roman Empire, so to speak.
Hmm.
And I specifically go into that book for that scene, read it, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before.
Same.
yeah.
Or if like I happen to come across like a TikTok or like an Instagram post with a quote from that book, then I'll be like, oh, I love that part. So I'll like go back into the book and just read that section. So sometimes like that's one reason I like people like that share quotes of their favorite like moments in books that are new to them. Cause then like it makes me remember why I love that book.
Like, I recently went back and just read a scene from What Heals Us by Maggie Gates. And it's the scene where they're snowed into the cabin together. And she's like, I do not need you to be my dad. I have a dad. And it was just such a great, sassy scene. Like, she's such a great character. And he's so like, whoa, sorry. Like, I wasn't trying to be like, it was just fantastic. Also, meet cutes. Meet cutes are another thing. that I like to go back, but actually, I think there's a voyeur scene that I really liked in Mary Lies when she finds
Yes.
him
I
down in
was
the
like,
basement.
oh, okay. I was like, you're gonna have to be a little more specific. There's a
Like when
few.
she first finds him down in the basement.
Yeah.
And that
Yes.
scene, and I was just like, okay. So I did. I, just went back and picked that up and
Is that what you
I
did with Janet Aston? You went back to the butt sex scene?
well, yes, because I actually needed reference to like how much lube she like talked about. So listen, it's really bugging me the lack of lube in romance right now. There's no lube shortage.
There is not.
No.
Do your research, friends. Do your research.
Honestly, it makes me want to be Oprah. You get some lube, and you get some lube. Everybody
Buy like
gets
the
lube.
5-gallon or the 20-gallon like tub or
Palette of lube.
pallet of
Yeah,
lube.
she,
Yeah.
yeah. She has sent me the Amazon link.
Mhm.
Oh my
If it wasn't
goodness.
$1,200, you guys, I would totally buy it. Just for the sheer joy of watching it be delivered.
Could you imagine being that delivery person?
Right?
Like having to like forklift
Right? Like, I
a
don't think that comes
50-gallon
in discrete
drum
packaging.
of lube to somebody's home
It's probably shrink wrapped. You can see exactly what it says on it.
I just think
and question what the fuck they're up to.
I mean, brings me joy.
I mean, you do live near a college too,
I
so who
do.
knows?
I do. Um,
I think you were talking about, going back and rereading scenes. Like I
Yes.
do that a lot now for episodes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I was gonna
So
say.
when we did the whole kiss one,
oh
like
yeah.
I had so much fun like going back and finding all of those scenes in the books.
It kind of is like with Leah and the quotes. I like when we do those small niched episodes like that. Like when we did the wedding episode. And
Yeah.
I think it was Jenny who called me when I'm in the middle of Walmart. And she's like,
Yes.
what about those people that just wake up married?
I
Do we
love
need
a
some
wake
of
up
those
married.
Rex? And I'm like, yes. Yes, we
Yes.
do.
Of course.
But then you have to sit there and you have to think, okay, what books did I read that? And I think it's Licked by Kylie Scott, which is one of my favorite rock star wake up married romances. And you reread that scene where she flips out that they're married. Like it's so awesome because she's like, I'm out, gotta go, bye. And he's like, no, we're gonna make this work. So I like when we do those small little niched episodes because we do get to go back. And
Well, and sometimes for me, like I'll like if it's a book I haven't read, like I really just want to get to that scene. So I'll just search it and then read it and then be like, oh, I love this. I'm gonna read the rest of the book now.
I can't do that.
Well, I'm a psycho like that. We all know it.
So before we get to the next question, I want to stop in here and tell you all about a book that I think should be on your TBRs. Hitting the Goal Line by Jocelyn Soto is such an emotional, character-driven romance. It explores the complexity of friendship, love, and the consequences of one's actions. The hero, Blake, might be one of the swooniest heroes that I've read in a really long time. Hitting the Goal Line is book 3 in the Chicago Dark Knight series, and it is a must-read, standalone, childhood friends to lovers, hockey romance. Grab your copy of Hitting the Goal Line today, available on Kindle Unlimited and in paperback. What are some things that you wish more people did when they reread? Like, do you wish that people would review when they reread?
Like update a review or
Yeah.
just
like I just read this. I reread this. This title is still so amazing. Or hey, I picked up this title after 5 years.
not so much anymore. Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. It doesn't fit the now. Do you wish people did that when they reread? I mean, rereading counts no matter how you do it. If you're someone that's keeping track of how many books you read and you have a reading goal, rereads count, audiobooks count, ebooks count, physical book count. Like, we're not discriminating. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about, like, do you wish people would review their rereads?
I mean, I look at those reviews a lot of times when I see them on Goodreads. If somebody says, like, I just reread this and I loved it as much, today as I did, like, whenever I read it, I will put that in a review if I reread a title consistently. I'm doing that with the Nora Roberts ones and audio, because I'm doing one on audio right now that's one of my favorites, but I don't love the audio. So, like, I think I have like a really good review of the ebook, and I will probably, when I get done, I'll be like, I don't love this audio as much as I love the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I read those
I
a
hate
lot.
when that happens. Like if it's a book that I love, but I don't mesh with the narrators.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang it, they ruined it for me.
I'm really on the struggle bus with some narrators, to be honest. And oftentimes, like you, I do use audio books as my reread, right? Like, I'm using audio. We just did Good Luck Charm by Helena Hunting. That was a reread for me. I did the audio. I really enjoyed those two narrators. But I did another one recently that wasn't a Rena Morgan. It was somebody else. And I didn't love the mashup of those two narrators. And then it kind of stunted the book for me, and it made me wonder, maybe this isn't a title to pick up again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the worry too, is like, do you want to ruin a book for yourself?
Well, but that's why that's why I asked you about the Nora Roberts books. Do they still hold up? Because that's the risk, especially if we go back and if we read the contemporaries of the early 2000s, from 2010, especially if you're picking up contemporaries that came out in the 50 Shades of Grey boom. Like, I want to go back and reread the Shayla Black Wicked Lover series. Like, I used to love that series, but I stopped after a while just because, like, I think I found Kindle or things got busy or whatever, and I haven't gone back. And I thought, I'm going to go back to the beginning and I'm going to read these Wicked Lovers. And then I start to worry because, like, 50 Shades of Grey with my 2023 eyeballs, that was a really rapey book. Did it open up a genre for a lot of people? It 1,000% did. Did it open up the door for indie authors? 100% it did. But the actual book is not well written and rapey. So that's the fear in going back and reading some of those older books.
Yeah, and I think that might be true with historicals, which I've been on I've kind of wanted to go back and reread some older historicals just to see, because I haven't done it in a really long time. But I think I can get away with it on the Nora Roberts books, because the majority of the things that don't hold up are the tech. Like, I don't think it's not the consent that doesn't hold up. And she still tells a really good story, and there's still like all these elements that make sense and they still make me happy. But I think her biggest problem is the tech. So I just look at it as like this was written before these things were invented. Like, I'm okay with it. But yeah, I think maybe the, historical one, I don't know. I've been thinking about it lately. So,
well, and I know, like with Julie Garwood with the Buchanan family, the last book she released, the hero uses no condoms. There's no condom conversation. There is like nothing about condoms in that entire book. And I even went back and read, and I'm like, did she talk about birth control? But I also have to remember she was like 74 when she wrote that book. And, and I know she was a little Catholic lady. I mean, she might not have been practicing, but, So
we all know that story.
We did, but I just had that moment of, so that wasn't so much that the book was dated, but the author writing it, like, herself was aged. Like, we aged that book right there but then we were in book club. I think it was last weekend we were at book club, and Jen Ellen, or Festivus, we were at Festivus, and Jen Ellen brought up that she has noticed a trend in books that we're having a lot less condom discussions and a lot less birth control discussions in some of the newer releases in 2023.
Well, and if you notice, like in darker romances, there's less condom use than contemporary.
Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting too, that while use of a condom, birth control, and those discussions don't necessarily age a reread, but it could make you like kind of perk up and be like, huh, they really didn't use a lot of condoms in 2010, you know?
Yeah, I read a book recently that was a newer release that had no discussion. And I was kind of like, wait, what?
Right.
So yeah, I can't remember now off the top of my head, but yeah, I don't know if it's a trend, but I'll have to like pay closer attention if she's noticed that.
Yeah, it's just interesting, and those are the things I worry about with rereading books that have been around a minute. That, you know, like, is it gonna feel contemporary?
Hmm.
Is there gonna be consent? And I have no issues. I was reading an article the other day talking about like we should start seeing COVID-19 mentions in our contemporaries, because these would have been the the books coming out in the later half of 2023 and early 2024, or the ones that were written and bought in 2020 and early 2021. And I don't even think we saw it in the indies that obviously release very soon. I don't think it'll ever touch. I don't
I mean,
think.
there were a couple that like they either commented on in passing or it was like a main staple of like the way the book played out.
Yeah.
But it's like a small smattering out of like thousands of romance books.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll see it. I am curious though, like the condom use,
Hmm.
if that is something that people are. Obviously, we're going to have newer and younger authors coming
Yeah.
into the industry, right?
Mhm.
The young millennials, the Gen Zers that are writing and bringing in, and they're kind of far removed from the AIDS epidemic of the 80s and the 90s. And they had probably Gen X or parents, older Gen X or parents. Condom discussions are different. So I wonder if that is some of what we're seeing too. If it's a younger
That's a really good
author
point.
that's
Right. Like I was thinking it's how the books are a reflection of the time and like you could see kind of the ebb and flows of multiple different things. But like, yeah, I'm like, oh man, you guys need to be safe.
right. Well, it kind of made me think, because so I equate rereading to rewatching TV shows. So
Right.
I have TV shows that are comfort watches for me. And I recently learned that this is a sign of ADHD to have like a comfort watch,
It is.
particularly if you have a rotation of comfort watches. FYI. So self-diagnose here, people. If you have a
So
rotation,
Michael's incessant need to watch The Office before we go to sleep is a sign of his ADHD.
100%, yes.
See, you guys have
I-
already had me questioning myself, reading Matching All the Way, and now you're having me question myself even more.
But like,
I have certain ones for like certain like when I'm sick, I watch this one. When I'm like
Oh, you have like
depressed, I
moods,
watch it.
So do
mood
I.
I have like
comforts.
set.
so
Yep.
I have certain feels. Like if I need to feel like the world as a whole is an okay place to be, I rewatch The West Wing. If I
How often
need
do you do that
justification
and have
that
that feeling though?
Constantly.
about
It just
every
runs
18
in the
months to
background.
2 years.
Every 18 months.
If I need to know like there are killers and murderers, Criminal Minds. And actually Criminal Minds is kind of a comfort watch too. Like
Oh, I like a good Criminal
Same.
Minds.
Me too.
That's
but
fair.
the one for me that is kind of one of those that like reaffirms that I went to medical school but didn't go to medical school. I like to rewatch ER.
Oh, I
that
was
is-
just talking about that.
That is so dated at times though.
But
and I
if
love
you
it
think
so
about
much.
early, so if you look at ER as a rewatch, there is so much conversation about AIDS, the AIDS epidemic, the use of condoms, the exposure
Oh,
to
yeah.
AIDS. I mean, it's like, and vaccines, like it's all over, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you go and watch newer medical shows, like I've watched Chicago Med, or I didn't ever
There's none
do,
of that.
I didn't do any Grey's Anatomy or anything like that. But I think there's another medical show. There's never any mention of like constant AIDS testing, AIDS patients. It's rare and far between. And so what I'm trying to say and relate here to is kind of like condoms in the books, right?
Hmm.
Like
The
ER
times
would
they
be
are
the,
changing.
like we expect tons of conversations about contraceptives and keeping yourself safe from transmission of diseases like AIDS. But
But
current
that
viewers,
also
readers might
ages
not have that
us.
same experience. It's what?
That also ages
It
us.
does
It
age
shows our
us.
age.
It also, we just freely diagnosed Amanda with ADHD.
Yeah,
So
apparently,
You're
apparently.
welcome.
You're welcome.
I don't,
Buzzing about romance, diagnosing
Well, like,
craziness,
okay,
or
off of condoms.
neurospiciness.
Like one of my favorite shows to rewatch is Seinfeld.
I love that
Okay,
show.
but that show doesn't work
No,
now.
it
Like if
doesn't.
everybody has a cell phone, 90% of their problems are fixed.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
But even some of the slang and conversations and
Oh, it's
things that
so like
happen,
controversial now.
those
Oh
do
yeah.
not hold up.
I mean, there's a whole episode that like is just not okay. Actually, there's multiple
I'm
episodes that are
like,
just
there's
not
just
okay.
one.
There's a lot of episodes that are just not okay anymore, but they're still so funny.
But I honestly think we'll start to see that with Friends too.
Oh
That
yeah.
those are going to
Oh
not
yeah.
hold up anymore.
Oh yeah. And I rewatch that all the time. So I mean, I can tell you that some of those episodes definitely don't hold up, but I still rewatch them. I will always
Oh,
rewatch them. That's my comfort rewatch. I put it on like it's on like a lot. I have HBO Max specifically so I can put it on whenever I want. But yeah, it's definitely aged. But
I like an
did
Ugly
you
Betty
see
rewatch too.
did you see the whole thing on Threads where they were doing like 10 shows to get to know me?
oh no, I
Like
missed that.
so you put down your 10 like favorite shows. So mine had ER and it had like Friends and like so many other ones. And I ended up taking it down because I was like, I don't think any of these people on here have
No, what
any
are you
Even know what
talking
these
about?
shows
relationships to
are.
even know what they are.
They don't understand what it means when you scream pivot in a high-pitched voice.
Oh my gosh, I do it all the time.
Oh my God, you guys. To be honest, it's interesting because I am not a TV watcher. Typically, like I don't sit down to watch TV.
Mhm.
Lately, Mike and I have been. We've been binge watching Suits, which Michael's
Oh,
like, we have thoughts anyway.
Does he not understand the draw?
No, he
But he's
likes
still
it.
binge
He likes
watching?
it. We hate the flashbacks. Like we have bonded even deeper in our marriage over our hatred of flashbacks.
Because they're so
But he's
dumb.
also like, I'm fairly certain he's in the camp that Meghan Markle, he wouldn't give up his kingdom for Meghan Markle.
oh, yeah, we binged that like a couple of months ago.
I'm
So,
just confused why like season 1 through 8 is on Netflix, but if you want 9 and 10, you have to go
You
over
have to go
to
someplace else.
Prime.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, it makes zero
Mm,
sense.
Yeah.
Oh, because I didn't realize that at first, and I thought the end of the one on Netflix, I was like, what is happening? I was like, this cannot end this way. I got super mad about it, and then I had to look it up. I was like, okay.
I mean, anger is deserved there. Like, why would they do that? That's so dumb.
Oh my God.
And anyway, back to the episode.
Sorry. We have another tangent. Here
Yep,
we
I'm
go.
like,
If you aren't rereading, is there a specific type of book that you use to reset? So, like, I will use categories to reset. Leah always goes for the dirty, naughty novellas.
Yep. Yep, I do.
Um,
Dirtier the better.
yeah, like if it's your step uncle, like wearing a Santa suit, Leah's in.
No, he was the step grandfather.
oh,
Oh,
that,
better.
oh,
Better, yeah.
okay.
Was there a little
Yeah.
breeding kink where you gonna make elves or something?
I mean, there was breeding kink, no making elves. But Wander was on the cover, people. It makes it all better. Wait, did you guys see he shaved his beard?
No, I haven't been on social
I
media.
He looks
yeah,
adorable. I love it. I like
No.
it so much. He has like scruff. I'm sure it's coming back, don't you worry.
I need the beard.
I like it
Honestly, I
better
saw
with
him and I
it.
was like, who is that? But then I saw it again. It's just not the same. But anyway, but Wander was on the cover, so of course I'm gonna read it.
I'm not happy to hear this news. of a
Are you
shaving.
looking it up?
I am looking it up
Go to his
because
Instagram.
He
He was
I
he had
was
a
like, what
Christmas hat on.
happened?
I do not like this, said
I
I.
didn't either.
Sam, I am. I do not like this. This is wrong. That
See,
is
I
He's
just
one of those
I
people
just
that
like,
should always have a beard.
but he's so pretty no matter what.
I am not okay with it.
I
But I
have to
think if
agree
we
with
hadn't got-
Amanda. Like some people,
Here's the question though. If that was his regular and he grew the beard out, would it be a different reaction?
No,
No.
he needs a beard.
I don't know. I like him without the beard.
It's
but
wrong. He's wrong. You're wrong. That's all there is to it. Amanda, is there a specific type of book you use for resets? Even if it's a new book, you're not rereading, but is it a type of book that you use for your resets?
I would my go-to romantic suspense I will reread, obviously. And then I think other than that, I like a good like paranormal, like to reset. Like I like a really good paranormal.
I will say
to
those
do it.
Vera Valentine, those fun
Oh,
little
yeah.
quirky books, or the Maeve Black, which I read her Dear Monster Claus one with the candy cane penis dragon. That was also delightful.
Also, I just did Amy Award's other pen name 80 Award. She has some really like little spicy quick ones. So I used I did one of hers. I think it was like one of her Kirby Girl books that I just did for a reset. It was really good.
Nice.
But it's like those short, sweet little stories that just like you can just bust it out and it makes you happy. If there's a lot of plot, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't need a lot of plot.
Jenny, what
It's
is your
just-
reset go to?
Usually like a mac and cheese read for me.
I thought she was going to say Green Valley.
Which is a mac and cheese read.
I mean, yeah, kind of. But yeah, I just want something that's not like I tend to read a little more angsty, romance. So sometimes I just need these people to have their shit together and get through it. Not all the drama.
Because none of us
So
do. So we have to, our characters. need
exactly.
it.
Sometimes I need like the hope that like someday it might be possible.
To get your shit
That makes
together?
sense.
Yeah.
Not if you have 4 children.
That's true.
Me hold on to the dream, Becky.
Okay.
Maybe when they're out of the house.
Dream big, Jenny. Dream big.
Some of them are leaving.
I was going to say. Drink
I mean-
tequila. I hear that helps.
It does.
Gin in
It
a
makes it
coffee
all
mug.
better.
I hear helps.
That was my Christmas drink. In my gin mug.
In your
My
gin mug.
In my gin mug.
Okay,
It had a
so
handle.
we went. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to share about rereads? Because we are
We
left
went rogue.
field.
We did.
I'm not sure
Merry
unscripted.
Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
I'm not
It's
sure
still the New Year,
unscripted is
though.
our.
Oh, well, see,
This
I'm
is what
already
happened.
New Year.
This is what happens when we record the week of Christmas.
I'm just starting to be concerned about our thoughts of going unscripted.
I
they
think that
did.
people will like it.
I hope so.
It will bring them joy.
Leave reviews and out of context quotes, please, and thank you.
Oh, goodness.
There's
There's
going to
plenty
be
of them.
some really good ones tonight.
Okay. So guess what, guys? Guess what time it is?
It's that time.
It's that time,
for
everyone.
book
Book
of
of
the
the week. I cannot wait to do this awkwardly on live.
Oh, it's going to be the best.
It's gonna
The
be
hand
awesome
gestures.
with hand gestures and jazz hands. Leah, you just keep on practicing your jazz hands there, sister.
I have jazzed hands since I was 3 years old.
Leah, what's your book of the week?
So I read Monster Without Mercy by Cynthia Eden. So it's one of her like paranormals. So he is like the king of destruction who, if he does good, he has like basically flinches. And he finds out there's a descendant of an alien or an angel who is going to break this curse that he's under. And so he goes to like the upper, like the earth realm, like not the earth realm, but like the realm where everybody else lives and deceives her, and she goes through the wishing well portal to his land and she rides a dragon. It was delightful.
It's a lot.
There's changelings. Yeah, it was really good. It was actually really good. It had a lot of like really well done story, and the character development was really good, and like the fate that they were like meant to be together. It sounds a little far-fetched, but it's delightful. It's one of her newer releases. It came out in October, November maybe, and I just got around to reading it. But it
Okay.
was really good.
Jenny, I guess I'll say you're welcome. Jenny, what is your book of the week?
I have two, Matching All the Way and Trick Play by Veronica Eaton. Becky like told me enough to like get me to actually
She
read.
like shouted at you in text messages like 3 days in a row.
And now you have to read Iced Out.
I mean, the whole beeper thing was a whole nother conversation, but yes, I have already started Ice Out. This is definitely my jam. Nerdy college
It's so
and
good.
sports. Yeah.
It's so good. And the rep in Matching All the Way for ADHD.
Yeah, it was like spot on.
Well, in loving somebody where they're at.
Yes. And not like definitely for that one. Yeah, just the way that he supports her by not doing things for her.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
He doesn't try to take over. He doesn't try to fix her or be like, oh, this is the better way to do it. Or I did this, this, and this for you because you weren't getting to it. He just lets her be. And I think the swooniest scene in that whole book is when she falls asleep in the car and he just drives around to be with her.
I'm like, I used to do that for my kids. Can somebody do that for me?
Same. I'm not a car sleeper, but yeah, I get it.
I slept in your car, so
That's fair. I'll drive you around, Jenny. Amanda, have you read that yet?
I read both of those this week as well, and they were so good. It's what I said. Like, I'm self-diagnosing myself over here after I read that book, and now we've had this conversation. Yeah, it was. I loved both of those books.
So Amanda, what was your book of the week?
So my book of the week was Playing with Lies by Riley Edwards. No surprise. She actually like surprise dropped this yesterday. She put out a pre-order like 5 days before it was ready and said, Merry Christmas. And she wrecked me. I don't know what I'm going to read now. Like, I'm broken.
But it's the secondary story in this book that is like the heartbreaking part of it. Because I just read it too. It's not my book of the week, as we know, but it's the secondary story that you're like, oh my.
Yeah, so this is her first book in her Hollow Point series, which is the spinoff of Triple Canopy, which is my favorite. But this is like it can be read as a standalone. Like, you don't need to read any of the other ones. You could totally start here. But it's Dalton and Vanessa, and the secondary story going on in this book is it's really well done. Like, it centers around a family member of hers, and I'm a mess. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to read next. Like, because she's usually who I reread when like I have a book hangover, and
So
now
she's stuck.
Now I don't know what I'm going to do.
No, you don't know what you do.
Yeah.
I hear your husband, Jasper Walker might be a good place to go.
Yeah.
True,
I mean,
because he was not in this book.
She mentions his name one time, and I feel like she did it just for me. So I'm just saying, because she messaged me
We
today,
are not stage 5 clingers in this
yes,
group.
I am. And I'm totally fine with
stage
it.
10 clinger with that one.
I feel like we're going to get restraining orders, you guys.
She knows.
They live in different states.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
It's safe. It's safe for right now. Just wait till June when we're all in Louisville.
Yes. No, because then I will
You'll
sweat
run
into
away.
a puddle and run away.
We will not let you.
We will
Becky
hold your
Becky
hand.
won't let you.
I won't let you.
I'll hold your hand and make you stand next to me. You don't have to talk.
We'll all
You
be
just have
sweaty
to stand
messes.
there.
Like, let's be
Yes.
honest. We're all going to
Oh
be
my
sweaty
God.
messes, but we won't let you melt. So my book of the week is Boone by Sawyer Bennett. This is book 11, did we decide? In the Pittsburgh Titan series. I'm not a crier. I am not a crier, but I am a hospital mom. And this is a story of a sister, an adult sister of a young kid who is 10 or 11 who has terminal cancer. And she gets all the hospital, the feelings, the trap of being a caregiver and just wanting something for yourself and the need for it, but not feeling guilty when you do get it. And yeah, you're going to want some tissues just reading this. I read her author dedication, Jenny.
Jeez.
Like,
Read the whole book.
yeah, like the only thing I'm sad about is the Jeremy York is the audio narrator and Stella Hunter, and I am not a Stella Hunter fan. She does this nasally nose thing that I just want to be like punch her in the face and make her stop doing it. Like, I feel aggressive when she talks.
I can't listen to her. There's a cadence of her voice that throws
She's
me
very
off.
slow, I think, in her pronunciation and her delivery of words, and it's all through her nose.
Well, and I already speed mine up, so
Anyway.
I won't be able to handle that.
So major update. If you're part of our Patreon, you already have this information, but this is the first time that we are announcing it here in the podcast feed. We are thrilled to share this major update with you all. Buzzing About Romance podcast is going live.
We're so sorry.
If you want to see jazz hands and awkward book of the week shout outs, you are going to want to join us starting January 14th over on our YouTube. We are going to be recording our sessions live and streaming them out directly to you so that you can experience all the magic. And I'm really excited. We did our year-end episode as a live stream to test it out, to make sure everybody was comfortable and things were going well. And it was a lot of fun.
It really was.
It was.
I liked that people were in the chat interacting with us and sharing titles and answering questions and stuff. So I am super excited that starting January 14th, every Sunday, holiday schedule might need tweaked. I'm still looking at all of that. But starting January 14th, every Sunday, live on the YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But don't worry, we still will be dropping those episodes into our regular podcast feed the following Sunday. So you won't miss anything if you just stick with us on the podcast feed. But if you want to check us out over on the YouTube, you can find us there every Sunday at 9 p.m. I'm super excited about it. Our year-end review episode already has like 60 some views. So
Fun.
I'm like, wow, people are watching us. So there is that. Make sure you save the date, set reminders. You can find more details on our website, and we will link our YouTube channel over there. Patreon update. I feel like we need more awkward announcements in our life, so I'm going to try out some Patreon ones. Celebrating 1 year in the Hive is Amy S. Amy, thanks for joining us. I believe Amy's the one that came and joined us at the HEA Readers event.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she was very sweet. And then celebrating 2 years is Jenna. And
Yay, Jenna.
3 years is Susie.
Susie.
Leah's roommate.
My reader's roommate.
Her trope. Her one bed trope.
My one bed. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for continuing to support the blah blah blah. Thank you for continuing to support the podcast and being a part of our Patreon. We are super excited you are here, and we look forward to having you for all the fun in 2024. Swag packs are headed out this week. I'm so excited to share that our swag pack sponsoring authors for January 2024 are author Sienna Snow and Kayleen Winters. Swag packs go out to Fancy Drinks, Cold Brew, and Queen Bee tier. And we still have fun buzzing about romance, exclusive stickers, mood reader cards, and other fun things. This month's Buzzing About Romance sticker is brought to you by Jenny, and it sparkles.
Oh, it's a good one, people. It's a good one.
They are mailed monthly around the 10th of the month, and we do ship these internationally. The perk is mailed on the 10th. If you join after the 10th, your first swag pack will come out the following month. Because of our amazing Patreons, we're able to bring you 3 episodes a week, and we're still working on our goal of 75 members so we can plan our first ever book retreat. And all members of Patreon get exclusive episodes along with perks like Buzzing Book Club. And you can find a list of our events on our website at bookcaseandcoffee.com/events, including happy hours, IG lives, and book clubs. We have some amazing happy hours coming in the works later in January. But I just confirmed the last author for May of 2024 for book club. So if you are doing your research and check out the Buzzing About Romance book club page, it will tell you what authors are going to be joining us each month. But May's is not up there yet, but I'm going to tell you when 2 of the people on this episode find out who May's is, they are going to be over the moon ecstatic. Like, again, we might end up with restraining orders.
We're not that bad.
I'm guessing I'm one of those people.
You and Leah, and then, well, Heather
Oh.
and Heather.
Oh.
Y'all.
Is it?
I mean,
I'm gonna
it
have to
narrows
give you
it down,
notice.
but it doesn't
like,
narrow it down.
Check out our
So-
website. Check out our website if you're really curious. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out and talking about rereading.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
We're sorry we took a
Yeah.
sharp left and never really came back.
Nope, it's fine. Until next time, everyone.
Happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.
If you're ready for a journey through the thrilling Chicago Dark Knight series, check out Hitting the Goal Line, which is a best friends to lovers, close proximity, new adult hockey romance that will have you swooning in the penalty box and cheering for love on and off the ice. Hitting the Goal Line is available on Kindle Unlimited and in paperback on Amazon.